The moment I stepped out of my rental car, a woman's voice sliced through the calm Tuesday afternoon. "Show me your ID, or I'm calling the cops," she barked, clutching her phone like a weapon. I froze, keys still in hand, staring at this stranger who seemed to think I was a fugitive. Her name was Linda Harris, self-appointed gatekeeper of Willow Creek Estates. Her face flushed with righteous fury as she ranted into her phone about a suspicious intruder in her pristine neighborhood. I said nothing, letting her unravel in her moment of imagined authority. 10 minutes later, a patrol car rolled up. Two officers stepped out, gave me a quick glance, and turned to her with a tired sigh. "What's it this time, Linda?" one asked. I smirked and strolled toward the gate. Some introductions don't need words, but those who know the law pick their side wisely. I'd come to Willow Creek seeking a fresh start after a grueling 18-month divorce from my ex-wife, Rachel. She'd left my life in ruins, and I was done fighting her battles. When my realtor, Emily, mentioned a charming colonial at 1423 Oak Lane, something clicked, maybe the towering pines or the way the sunset bathed the porch in gold. But before I could even reach the front door, Linda appeared, a suburban vigilante in her mid-40s, sporting a crisp navy polo emblazoned with HOA president like a badge of honor. Her blonde hair was pulled back so tightly it seemed to fuel her aggression. She planted herself between me and the house, her voice dripping with condescension. "This is a private community, sir. Do you have permission to be here? Are you delivering?" Her eyes scanned me like I was casing the place. I calmly checked Emily's text to confirm the address. "I'm here to view the house for sale," I said. "I have an appointment." Linda's gaze narrowed, as if I'd admitted to grand theft. "That's what they all say? ID now. You can match their energy or let them dig their own hole." I chose the latter, sensing Linda's theatrics were well rehearsed. Her hands trembled slightly, betraying a desperation beneath her bravado, a look I recognized from Rachel's worst days, clinging to control when everything else was slipping. "I get you're protecting the neighborhood," I said, handing over my license. "I'm just here to see the house." Linda snatched it, reading James Carter aloud like it was code for most wanted. She was on the phone with 911 before I could blink, reporting a suspicious individual with a flair that would have impressed a Hollywood director. I discreetly started recording on my smartwatch, not for legal reasons, but because this was a story worth saving. The cops arrived, their body language screaming they'd dealt with Linda before. Officer Daniels, with the weary air of a man tired of this routine, cut through her monologue about recent break-ins. "Linda, this is your 12th call this month. Is this man breaking any laws?" Her face reddened as Daniels checked my appointment details and Emily's card. "He's here to see a house, Linda. People can do that, even in your gated paradise." As the officers drove off, one muttering something that made the other laugh, Linda turned to me, venom in her eyes. "This isn't over, Mr. Carter. I'll be watching you." I smiled. "You know, Linda, I think I'm gonna love it here." I hadn't even unpacked when Linda launched her digital crusade. By evening, my phone buzzed with notifications from the Willow Creek Community Watch Facebook group, where she'd posted a screed about a dangerous outsider tied to a real estate scam. She'd snapped a blurry photo of me during our encounter, plastering it across 4 local groups, Nextdoor, and even a nearby subdivisions forum. Each post grew wilder, claiming I was part of a criminal ring that had hit other cities. Emily called, bewildered. "James, some woman claiming to be the homeowner at 1423 Oak Lane just told me to stop showing the house to shady buyers. She mentioned you in fraud." I laughed. Linda was now impersonating property owners to derail my purchase. Her dedication was almost admirable, but her campaign only made me dig deeper. That night, I uncovered a 2020 police report about Linda harassing a family 2 streets over, driving them to sell their home at a loss after months of fines and complaints. Property records revealed a pattern. Over 2 years, 5 homes in Willow Creek sold far below market value, each after relentless HOA violations documented in court filings. It looked like Linda was using her position to bully families into desperate sales, profiting through shady deals with investors. Instead of running, I decided to buy 1423 Oak Lane. Linda's tactics reminded me too much of Rachel's manipulation, and I was done being pushed around. I told Emily to submit a full-price cash offer with a note about wanting to be a positive community member. To stir the pot, I sent Linda a bouquet of lilies with a card. Thanks for showing me how much I belong here. Excited to be neighbors. Linda's response was swift. By noon, she'd updated her posts, warning that I was infiltrating the community with deceptive gestures. But her overreach was her first mistake. I'd been documenting her scheme, and it was starting to look like something the authorities would love. When the first HOA violation notice arrived claiming my front door's forest green violated their approved palette, I wasn't mad. I was ready. Over the next week, notices piled up. My car was misaligned in the driveway. My mailbox flag was non-compliant. My trash cans lingered too long post-pickup. Each came with fines from $75 to $600, citing rules that didn't exist or were wildly misinterpreted. Linda was waging bureaucratic war. I got organized, building a spreadsheet of every notice, complete with photos proving the violations were nonsense. I reached out to her past victims. The Martinez family, who'd sold 6 months prior, described 8 months of torment that ended with a $90,000 loss. The violations stopped the day we signed the sale, they said. Others shared similar stories: harassment, escalating fines, and sales to the same investment firm. Linda had turned the HOA into a machine for forcing cheap sales, pocketing consulting fees from the buyers. My security cameras caught her daily inspections, measuring my grass with a ruler and examining my mailbox like a CSI agent. Her obsession was unhinged but impressive. Then came the legal threat: a letter from Harper & Sons, representing Linda, demanding $2,800 in fines or face a lawsuit for disrupting community harmony. I smiled. She'd just given me the stage I needed. In court, Linda presented a 90-page dossier of my crimes, from lawn height to parking angles, her voice quivering with righteous fury. I countered with my timeline, showing her fabricated rules and testimony from 7 families she'd driven out. Property records tied her campaigns to $1.5 million in undervalued sales. The judge's face hardened. Mrs. Harris, why do these violations always precede cheap property deals? Linda stammered, her confidence crumbling. Her attorney, sensing disaster, withdrew mid-hearing, citing a conflict. The judge dismissed her case and referred her actions to the state attorney for possible fair housing violations. Just when I thought I'd won, my ex-wife struck. An IRS agent, Laura Kim, called about discrepancies in my 2021 to 2023 taxes, triggered by Rachel's doctor documents claiming I'd hidden income. It was a vicious move, timed to cripple me. Linda, with her knack for sniffing out dirt, got wind of it and posted gleefully about the frauds her caught by the feds. Neighbors who'd started to warm to me shunned me again. My accounts were frozen, legal fees soared, and Linda rallied a petition to oust me. I couldn't defend myself without risking the investigation, so I watched her lies spread. But Linda didn't know I'd been feeding Agent Kim details of her own scheme. While she celebrated, I was building a case against her. The turning point came at a board meeting for Crestwood Management, the firm overseeing Willow Creek's HOA. As CEO, I'd kept my identity quiet, but now it was time to reveal it. On Zoom, Linda's smug face appeared, unaware she was facing her boss. I laid out her harassment, the coerced sales, the $1.5 million in manipulated deals. Her sons called during the meeting, panicked about her fighting. The CEO sealed her humiliation. The board fired her on the spot, revoked her HOA powers, and pledged to cooperate with criminal probes. 3 weeks later, Linda emailed me a confession. Her husband's death 3 years prior had left her lost, and the HOA became her lifeline. I thought I was protecting order, she wrote, admitting to targeting 8 families. Grief had turned her into a bully, but she was seeking help. She sold her house at a loss and moved to Raleigh, sending me a $12,000 check for my troubles. The community, freed from her reign, embraced a new cooperative model I introduced, with workshops replacing fines. At a barbecue, neighbors laughed and shared without fear, a stark contrast to Linda's police state. When a USB drive of her HOA record surfaced, I let it go. Mercy felt better than vengeance. Months later, a call from a Texas HOA facing a similar tyrant proved my fight wasn't just personal. Linda's story was a warning. Unchecked power corrupts, but redemption is possible. Her schemes sparked outrage, but her confession stirred debate. Was she a villain or a victim of her own pain? Share your own tales of neighborhood drama below. Let's build communities rooted in respect, not fear.